let's be honest, Nintendo's a bit of a pissy ant these days. All right, let's go ahead and start this off. We're talking about this because Alpha Mario wants me to do a Ocarina of Time randomizer on the stream, so I think it's probably a good idea for me to go ahead and cover this thing right now while I'm thinking about it. Because, let's be honest, Nintendo's a bit of a pissy ant these days. Well, I mean, they're always that way. So, I've got an article here that Saki sent me, actually, talking about the new things that Nintendo is trying to push for ROMs right now for streamers, which is going to make streaming really difficult for people who like to focus on Nintendo content. Not that they haven't done this kind of stuff in the past, over and over again. It's really kind of agitating, but let's go ahead and cover this. So, the article here says Pokemon, like all major video game franchises, has a dedicated fan base. However, Pokemon's reach extends further than any other, spanning trading cards and plush toys and Primark pajamas. These fans, myself included, lap up everything, but the games are still the top priority. It's kind of funny. The games are the top priority for fans, but they're the bottom priority for Nintendo. If you've been a Pokemon fan for a while, just a very, very quick aside, Pokemon fans work on a shoestring budget, and they work on a very, very small amount of time, so we don't actually get, like, good, complete Pokemon games anymore. Not really. Not really at all. Sword and Shield were a clusterfuck. Scarlet and Violet barely functioned when they came out. Like, as fun as these games are for people who enjoy them, Nintendo does not give the right amount of work to them in order to make them function. And the reason for that is that Game Freak, the company that makes the Pokemon games, don't actually receive a large percentage of merchandising sales from Pokemon. Nintendo, the parent company, does. And that matters because most of Pokemon's money is made off of merchandising. So the actual company that makes the base game that all the merchandising is based off of doesn't really receive enough money or time to develop the stuff they need to. Nintendo just gets to lap up all the profit and revenue. Yay! It's great, isn't it? Biggest multimedia franchise in the entire world. Pikachu was more noticeable in silhouette than the fucking Mickey Mouse. But don't worry, we don't need to pay those programmers enough anyway. Anywho, it goes on to say, modern Pokemon games just aren't as replayable as the classics. Maybe it's my nostalgia, but the contemporary titles are easier and more mired in narrative over competitive battles, and despite their open worlds, they often feel more linear. So, their open worlds, no. Scarlet and Violet have an open world. Kind of, sort of. They're open worlds with forced linear progression still. The levels don't really change based on where you are, so you still kind of have to go the way the game wants you to go. You just get to choose a different path, kind of like how in Breath of the Wild is. But that's still more open than classic Pokemon games. But Sword and Shield are not open games. I'm sorry. There is an open area in Sword and Shield, but that is not the same thing as having an open game. The wild area in Sword and Shield feels like a tacked-on thing. They were like, hey, open world games are really cool right now. Why not shove one in the middle of the map? Nobody's gonna be upset with this. It is fine, I guess. So Gen 1 was so narrative-based. Gen 1 wasn't really narrative-based. It had a good narrative, but the narrative definitely got expanded in other games. But anyway, it says old games are hard to get a hold of. I saw Pokemon Silver unboxed in the window of my local CEX for £50. The consoles cost even more, so many fans turn to YouTubers and content creators to get their retro fix. YouTubers, known in fan circles as PokeTubers, do far more than replay old games. Some, like former world champion Wolf Glick, a veteran player Aaron Cybertron Zhang, showcase their battling prowess with competitive content. Others play ROM hacks, fan-made Pokemon games created using the assets of old Pokemon games, usually Gen 3 or 4. The reason for this is pretty simple. It's easier to do ROM hacks on 2D games than 3D games, so yeah. Also, Freedom Inc., thank you for resubscribing for 3 months at Tier 3. Holy crap! Thank you so much. That gets us even further into our Partner Plus attempts right now. For those who don't know, we are currently pushing for Partner Plus. That's going to take a little while to update, but that should add 6 points to the Partner Plus amount there. So thank you very much for that. You miss Wormwood? I liked Pokemon Snakewood. I really liked Pokemon Snakewood. Anywho, the final genre of PokeTuber are the hardcore Nuzlockers, who make the games as difficult as possible, either using self-imposed rules or tough ROM hacks. These are the most popular form of Pokemon content, at least in my experience, eclipsing the niche videos like themed escape rooms to capture the hearts of millions. However, all of that might be due to change. Nintendo has updated its rules as to what is allowable for content creators using its properties, and many Pokemon creators could suffer for it. Updated last week, the rules now make direct reference to the emulators that many creators use to play old titles or ROM hacks, and stresses punishments for doing so. The rules now state that using emulators or other circumvention software... I'm just going to go ahead and interrupt this part right now to say this is stupid, because Nintendo themselves use emulators on their Switch platform. They do not use hardware encoding for any of their shit when it comes to their retro games. They use an emulator, and they often use ROMs ripped from ROM websites where other people have ripped them themselves, because Nintendo couldn't be fucked years ago to actually catalog that shit on their own. I'm not upset, you're upset. Anyways, game preservation is a good thing. Emulators are objectively a good thing. I love the Shantae series, and it literally wouldn't exist in its current form without emulation keeping it alive. But, you know, let's ignore all that. Zilbear, thank you for the follow. Let's see here. Jassa says, I'm not a lawyer, but I would 100% argue that Nintendo are violating the DMCA in fair use. Yeah, probably. Probably. So, the rules now state that using emulators or circumvention software could result in a strike from Nintendo, which in the past has included demonetizing videos or sending DMCA strikes to unauthorized use of copyright content. So, what if Pokemon creators want to play old games? Well, unless it's native to the Switch, which no game before Generation 8 is, you'll have to find old hardware, but the Nintendo 3DS is a haven for older Pokemon games, hosting Gens 4 to 7 natively and letting you play Gens 1 through 3 via Virtual Console. If you already bought them, because the Nintendo 3DS Virtual Console is dead. Because Nintendo killed it. And good fucking luck if you have a way to actually make it to where you can play your 3DS on your computer comfortably for the purpose of streaming. Nintendo is stuck in, like, an archaic 100 years ago corporate scenario, and I just really wish something awful happened to their headquarters sometimes. Not to any of the people, just, like, inconvenience them for inconveniencing us. Oh, boy. They said, yeah, like, you could soft mod your new 3DS and sort of do wireless game capture. Yeah, you'd have to, but that would violate their stuff anyway, because that would be a circumvention method. So, well, Nintendo is 100 plus years old. Yep. So, egg yolks at the ready. Lots of egg yolks at the ready. You might think that's all that fine. You might think all that's fine because you're playing these games legitimate, right? Wrong. To capture a 3DS's screen, you will need a modified console, and capture cards were in their infancy when the 3DS was in its heyday. No. Capture cards were in their infancy when the regular DS was in its heyday. I'm kidding. No, they're right. They're actually right on this one. Capture cards were in their infancy when the 3DS was in its heyday, and many of the things we take for granted when streaming our screens weren't as simple back then. It doesn't help that Nintendo's handheld uses awkward ports to ensure you have to buy and use Nintendo's own cables, meaning you have to physically deconstruct your 3DS to capture the legitimate games that you play on it, or pay someone to do it for you. But that would go under the unauthorized modification section of their clause, as it's sort of the technical hardware alteration that would immediately void your console's warranty. Yet, it's necessary to stream old games. You can see Nintendo's point of view. No, you really can't. People are taking apart Pokemon games and rebuilding them like Mario makers in creative ways. That's Nintendo's IP that people are using to shift thousands of games. albeit usually for free. Kaizo makes hard-as-nails hacks that test patience, preparation, and perseverance as much as they do skill. Regular Nuzlockers hack in rare candies so they don't have to spend hours upon hours grinding on wild Pokemon. A tedious task, boring for both creator and viewer alike. But it's yet another scenario where Nintendo is lashing out in ways fans are earning money from its games, and it's clear the company doesn't understand that fans are doing this out of love of the franchise. I don't think Nintendo cares that they're doing it for love of the franchise. Also, Zilbear, thank you very much for the Tier 1 subscription for 3 months. That gets us another point towards the Partner Plus stuff. But I don't think Nintendo cares about the love here. Here's what I would say. Nintendo, Pokemon YouTubers are free advertising for you. This isn't like when React streamers are taking indie content and just shoveling it back to their audiences, thus eclipsing the views of it. Nintendo, you are a mega corporation. You can never hit the point of inviolability of content that we would normally get when it comes to reactions. You are the bigger fish. You will always be the bigger fish. So when a streamer streams your content, that is advertisement that you don't have to pay for. That is advertisement you don't have to spend your hard-earned money for. That is stuff that is making your property more fun. Let me give you guys an example. Yu-Gi-Oh! When I was growing up, there was a lull in Yu-Gi-Oh! There was a lull where a lot of people just stopped playing it, stopped watching it, kind of stopped caring about it. The Yu-Gi-Oh! Bandwagon had come and kind of gone for a little bit. And then the Yu-Gi-Oh! Abridged series happened. The same thing happened with Dragon Ball Z, by the way. The Abridged series happened, which was a letter of love from Little Karibo, making fun of a series that he grew up with and he loved. Also a Nubian, thank you for gifting 2 community subs. That series revitalized Yu-Gi-Oh! In my local area. It revitalized the shit out of it. So much so that the 4Kids dub of Yu-Gi-Oh! GX started changing its writing practices to more align themselves with what Yu-Gi-Oh! Abridged were doing. Just look at how Chaz is written in Season 1 of GX versus Season 2 and 3 of GX. There is a notable shift. Also, Gibberish Chris, thank you for redeeming your points for an owl. That revitalization was free advertisement, a free stim pack for the Yu-Gi-Oh! Franchise, and it brought so many people who had quit previously back into the fold, me included. I had quit not wanting to touch anything Yu-Gi-Oh! Related for a while, and then that happened. It gave me a reason to. Also, apparently we have a hype train starting. Red Joker, thank you very much for the 101 bits. Dragon Ball Z, the Abridged series, did the same thing. It revitalized an entire new generation of viewers for DBZ, and it has, I would say, damn near immortalized parts of that franchise that people otherwise might have just gone, oh, okay, I remember that from my childhood, and then it went away. It's stuff like that that advertisers don't have to pay for, that is free marketing for these giant mega corporate shits. And yet, despite the fact that these things are done as labors of love, despite the fact that these things are done typically with no actual profit coming to the people who make them, the companies that design these things still try to take down anything that these people who are doing these labors of love do. Now, I understand a little bit. Lord Does Art, thank you for gifting out 2 community subs. While everybody is doing the hype train thing, remember, we do have the Partner Plus program we are pushing for. So if you are giving a sub, if you are subscribing, please consider doing Tier 2 and 3 subscriptions for a couple of months as you add on to the hype train, because that will count the most towards the Partner Plus program. Jordan says, what surprises me is that fan-made manga is a huge thing over there. Why not video games? You sugmed your stream? You did. You did. It's, yeah, no, Linari, I agree. It's short-sighted bean counters. Dunoboyo says, I still haven't and won't forgive them for AM2R. I love AM2R. I bought new Metroid games, and I still love AM2R. AM2R existing doesn't make me not want to buy Metroid games. You know what makes me not want to buy Metroid games? locking Metroid 2 onto a console that was on its way out and dying as you had a Nintendo Switch people were going for. Or, I don't know, not releasing the 4th part in a long-running and beloved series like Metroid Prime. Those are things that make me not want to pick up Metroid games. Not a fan-made game that I can choose to play whenever I want. Anubian says 2 chats. Yep, we have the YouTube chat on the right and the Twitch chat on the left, and the Twitch chat are second-class citizens to the YouTube chat. AM2R is why you played Fusion and Super Metroid? Yeah, imagine that! I got Metroid Zero Mission from my dad for free, because it was a gift to me when I was a kid. And because of that, I played Fusion on an emulator, and because of that, I bought Prime 3 on my Wii, so that I could experience more of the franchise. And then I got Prime 1 from a friend, because he had the Metroid Prime trilogy, and then I got Metroid Dread for my Switch. Like, legacy games being available in emulated form puts me in a position where I am more willing to spend money on those games now, because I was introduced to them in an environment where I could just play them at my leisure. Also, the Animike, thank you very much for the posture check. Alpha Mario X says, thankfully Metroid games have randomizers. The official ones don't. Not really. Anubian says, Suris, I gave a tip. Oh, hold on. Let me go ahead and go into my thing for that real quick so that I'm not mucking up where that's concerned. Where is my tip section? Beep, 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 beep. Inhale. Thank you for the hydrate, Anubian. Thank you very much. Hold on. I have to switch my thing over to... I need to not do this when I'm doing a segment. Oh, there we go. Anubian, thank you very much for the $20 tip. I see it now. Self-care is important during subathon. Thank you. I appreciate it. So Nintendo doesn't know what it has with its YouTube creatives. These are people so dedicated to the brand that when the main series games get tedious and boring thanks to easy storylines and appalling performance issues, they come up with brand new ways to play. They love Pokemon so much that they will die time and again at the feet of a souped-up Roxanne because a dude named Kaizo thought it would be fun to give her Giga-draining Lilip to counter your water types, and her Relicanth just won't die. That's amazing. That is amazing. It says here, Pokemon fans decided a long time ago that they had to make their own fun, playing and watching others play. Games like Emerald Kaizo and Soul Link Nuzlocke and of Scarlet and Violet are what keep the Pokemon community alive. We're not going to grind every Terrestrial event. It's just not going to happen. The raids are too bugged, the rewards are too small, but playing a 2003 Pokemon game with randomized encounters and a obscene difficulty spike in every gym? Count me in. Let's hope Nintendo doesn't come knocking on my door. So let's go ahead and see if they have the list here. Let's look at the updated rules. Let's see here. We encourage you to create videos that include your creative input and commentary, unless that input is, you know, in the game itself. You're only permitted to use Nintendo game content that is generated after the game has been officially released, or if it's promotional materials officially released by Nintendo, such as product trailers and the like. If you want to use intellectual property of a third party, you are responsible for obtaining the necessary third-party permissions. Wait. So, if somebody wants to just mod a game that they bought and they own, they have to go to you to ask permission? Oh, Daddy Nintendo, who will never know who I am, can I please get permission to modify the game that I bought? Please? Can I please get permission to mod? Meanwhile, there are other game companies that are like, oh, people are modding our games? Oh, fuck, let's release creator packs for them to make it easier for them to mod it. That shit keeps people playing our games. That's good for our numbers. Fuck it, do it. We reserve the right to object to any content that we believe is unlawful or infringing. Yeah, sorry, I'm just gonna say, fuck you, Nintendo. It's okay, and Pokegals is a wonderful Dojin series. For reasons, of course. They're behind the curve as shit here. What types of content are acceptable under our guidelines? We encourage you to use Nintendo game content in videos and images that feature your creative input and commentary, like Let's Play videos and game reviews, but only within the scope of our guidelines. But you may not upload or live stream an existing Nintendo video, gameplay footage without your own creative or editorial input. That's understandable. If somebody's playing a game, they should be adding something to it. I can understand that. What do you mean by appropriate video image sharing websites? We are referring to the most commonly used video and image sharing platforms, but not limited to YouTube, Twitch, blah, 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 blah. Currently, the monetization methods allow for Facebook partner monetization, Twitch affiliate, X Twitter monetization, YouTube partner program. These are the ways that you can monetize your content, but you can't sell, like, a game cartridge, sure. Can I sell content that I create and upload or live stream on a sharing platform if it includes Nintendo game content? You may not sell any videos, music, or images that you create using Nintendo game content. Okay. Can I upload content that is based on Nintendo intellectual property outside of gameplay footage, such as fan art or music? The guidelines only cover the sharing of Nintendo game content and appropriate video and image sharing sites. Any other use of their property outside this scope will be subject to the relevant laws and applicable jurisdiction. Nintendo cannot provide legal advice to you. We encourage you to seek your own legal counsel. Wait, so basically if somebody wants to make Pokemon fan art, Nintendo has a problem with that. Pokemon fucking fan art, Nintendo has a problem with. Fan art! What? Okay. Sure thing. What if I record someone playing an unreleased game? That wouldn't make sense. I'm planning on hosting a gaming tournament using games for which Nintendo owns the copyright to. If I'm hosting a game tournament covered by this guidelines. Uploading and live streaming gameplay videos for Nintendo, which they own the copyright to, is subject to these guidelines. Posting a game tournament, please follow the community tournament guidelines. In addition, when posting or monetizing gameplay... Yeah, this is how they fucked Evo, by the way. So Nintendo's gonna come for me for my Mario fan art? They're saying that they can. That's stupid. Will there be cases where Nintendo will remove content from sharing platforms? Yup. Let's see here. Examples of unlawful, infringing, or inappropriate content. Illegally copied or modified game software. So this is where they're going to fuck people for randomizers. This is where they're going to fuck people for Nuzlocks. Infringes on intellectual property of Nintendo. Shows how to use software and or devices that circumvent security measures. Okay, so people who show videos of how to letter bomb their Nintendo Wiis can get hit by Nintendo now. Despite the fact that I bought the Wii, I should be allowed to modify the damn thing. Fuck off. Features graphic, explicit, or otherwise offensive content. So Nintendo would have problem with porn of a Gardevoir with a strap on, bending Misty over and railing her until her mouth is filled with cum. Okay, cool. Me saying that also might actually cause me to be subject to this. That's fun. Interferes with the proper operation or impairs the safety of Nintendo products, so that's modification of systems. They're going to be hitting... Involves cheating, cracking, or unauthorized access. This is the way that they're going to stop people from, putting rare candies in their games. This part bothers the fuck out of me. Like, Nintendo wants people to get in trouble for cheating on their games? Nintendo, Game Sharks and Game Genies have been a thing for a long time. Back the fuck up. It's okay for these things to exist. I couldn't beat Mario 64 when I was a kid. I used a Game Shark for it. The first time I beat Mario 64 was as an adult on stream. Yeah, cheating in single-player games. Nintendo's gonna come knock on your door. Features unauthorized game consoles and or software not licensed by Nintendo. So if you play an official Nintendo game on a Retron, they'll get you for that too, because that's an unauthorized game console. Do they remember when they lost against Game Genie in court a while ago? Yeah, they're going to keep trying. They're going to keep trying. Features videos, images, and sound sources that cannot be used in regular gameplay, extracted through game software via data mining and other methods. So, wait, so Boundary Break is fucked? Is She Says in trouble? Wait, this literally destroys This destroys the entirety of the Boundary Break channel. This is Nintendo saying they'll come after you for doing that. Which is stupid, because she says is actually a wonderful fucking person in real life and does not deserve Nintendo knocking on their door. Funny story, actually. When I was at a convention, and I was at a hotel setting up to play Resident Evil 4, the remake, in the hotel, everybody was in the other room. We had two adjoining rooms. Ant Dude, Gilly, Nick, and everybody else were in the other room talking, and we had just come back from... Where was it that we were at? I think it was... I don't remember the restaurant we were at, but there was cheesecake there that they gave us because things did not go very, very well at the restaurant. And so she says, comes into the room thinking there's nobody in there, and I'm there. He just looks at me and goes, don't tell anybody about this. I'm telling you guys about it now because it's funny. And he just takes the cheesecake, runs over to the corner, like a dark corner, and starts shoveling the cheesecake into his mouth with his hand because we didn't have a fork in the room because we had no reason to have a fork there. It was a funny interaction. Dude's a cool guy, though. Suris is a nerd. Yeah, he ate cheesecake with his bare hands. There we go. Just awful story. I've leaked the terrible stuff that goes on at conventions behind closed doors. Who would have known? This is what happens when you pull the camera back at a convention and see the behind-the-scenes stuff. And now you kind of want cheesecake. Cheesecake's good. But anyway, this is ridiculous. All this shit here is ridiculous. All of this is awful. We're going to be doing an Ocarina of Time randomizer on the stream now, just to spite Nintendo. Fuck you guys. There's never a bad time for cheesecake. Oh my god. Poppy, hello! Jesus, you're ending your stream? I just went there to bug you. Hi, how you doing? Can we get a shout out for Poppy, please? Poppy the Lich King? Dude is fucking amazing. And how did your art turn out? I only saw a little bit of it. We're currently going over the Nintendo guidelines on how to use their content, because apparently emulation bad, modifying games bad, cheating in games bad. They literally say they can send lawyers to you for cheating in their games. It's kind of stupid. It's kind of dumb. It's kind of really dumb. Also, R2D, thank you for the follow. Spaz Yeti, thank you for the follow. Need to add /shoutout to the shoutout command. So nothing new? It's nothing new, but they're pushing it further. So you can't have unauthorized game consoles. So if you're legitimately streaming a game you own, like if I stream my copy that I own of Zelda Link to the Past, let's see here. There we go. There we go. Where's my camera at? Where's my camera at? Where did I put that thing? I don't know where my camera went. Oh, well, I was going to do a bit where I showed my copy of Zelda Link to the Past, because I like it, but I guess I can't do that. But if I have a copy of Link to the Past, how's it going, Zelda? And I try to stream that using a Retron. Apparently that's enough to get me hit by Nintendo? Yamibrook, thank you very much for the follow. So they lost the Game Genie case in 1987? Yeah, and they lost the case against modification of Nintendo DS hardware in Paris. They're still going to keep doing it. Wait, would this affect speedruns because people are playing the game in a non-intended way? This wouldn't affect speedruns because it's not about playing the games in an intended way. It's about cheating using something like a Game Genie or a Game Jark. Game Genie or Game Jark? Game Genie or Game Shark. It's about using a illegal console. It's about using an illegal copy of the game. But what happens if somebody thinks they have a legal copy of a game and they buy it at a flea market and it's a not legal copy of the game? What do they do then? Like, this whole ordeal screams of petty nonsense. Lucky Otter says they hate Boundary Break. Yeah, and I'm gonna be honest. If I have to do a whole video just, like, defending Boundary Break for this shit, I will. I will. And not just because she says is a wonderful human being who deserves to have all the cheesecake he can shovel in his mouth, but also because The series is not harming anybody, Nintendo, much less your stuck-up lawyers. They bend you over and go to town? Apparently. What if you were to crack down on third-party sales? I don't know. Judo Kami, thank you for the follow. Copyright is absolutely an absolute liability, so they could be screwed. Yeah, Boundary Break is fun. Boundary Break is fun, and the creator of it is an amazing person. So, this stuff bothers me. None of this should be a problem. None of this should be an issue, but Nintendo's sitting here just being the issue, being the problem. Being the biggest of stick in the asses. Because that's what Nintendo does. And this is the stuff I hate because I love Nintendo. As a conglomerate of my childhood memories, I love Nintendo. But as a company that produces things, I hate them. Sirs, I gave you a hydrate. It's important while Timercoon has you. Thank you very much for the hydrate, Nox. That Sirs, you're getting too baffled by Nintendo. Have a sip of dihydrogen monoxide. The biggest problem is even if they lose, they will feed their lawyers millions to shut down legal challenges. Yep. Sirs, I totally have the game. I can't show you a picture. It's not here. It goes to a different school. Like, so for instance, I have a Nintendo 64, and thanks to Old Skuld, I have a base amount of Nintendo 64 games that I can play. And I have an HD pass-through that will let me play my N64 games on my capture card if I want. But I'm not gonna lie, if I want to do an Ocarina of Time randomizer, when I own an N64 and own Ocarina of Time, and own the pass-through so that I can play it legitimately, but if I just want to play that randomizer, I can't according to this. I can't do that. I own literally every piece of the puzzle that Nintendo wants me to have. But because I would be playing a modified version of the game, and that whether or not I downloaded the ROM myself, they would be mad. Thing is, DMCA takedown notices aren't treated as strict liability by court. Basically, no court has actually held someone responsible for a DMCA takedown notice for something for which they don't hold a copyright over. Jeez, this whole ordeal is just... It's insanity. It's insanity. Old Gus says, hang on, those last two are farked. Yes! If I play a game I own on a Retron system that I bought with my own money, that's apparently illegal, according to Nintendo. I can't use that. Also, this literally has a clause in it that says porn bad. Again, if I have a video of a Gardevoir with a strap-on railing Misty so that she is literally bleeding cum out of her mouth, that image right there, and possibly even me describing that image, that's something that Nintendo doesn't want. Just, you know, great. R2D says Retron system. So a Retron system is a multi-input system that allows you to play NES, Super Nintendo, and usually also Master System and Genesis games, all on one console. Avalon of Babylon says, to be fair, I also don't want you to say those words. There isn't enough brain bleach in the world to eliminate that example from my memory. You can understand why they don't like Rule 34, but also fuck Nintendo. But literally, me saying fuck Nintendo should also be illegal according to these rules, because somebody on Rule 34 is drawing somebody right now, taking an N64 logo, giving it a pussy, and railing it. Twisty says, sir, say those words more. Twisty, you just want me to give you more ideas because you draw porn. I've seen your porn. It's good porn. Come on, you know Brock is a better prop to use than Misty. No. I'm too straight for that. That person might be me. I'm fueled by spite. God, Avalon. Twisty says, I would never. Look, Twisty, if you need ideas for all kinds of just strangely fucked up porn, or just stuff that people will really enjoy on the internet, just DM me. I will throw you all kinds of weird shit. Remember, if you catch a Lopunny, there's no rules against the Pokemon. Third-party unlicensed software is not illegal thanks to precedents. Yes, but Nintendo wants to pretend that it is. Nintendo's like the trope where you split the good side from the bad side and the good ones into the games, leaving only pure spite for the rest of the other. My brother in Christ, Nintendo, you made Bowsette. What the fuck would you think the internet was going to do with that info? Nintendo didn't make Bowsette, though. Nintendo made the crown, and then people made Bowsette from the crown. Bowsette is not actually a Nintendo creation. They made Peachette. Suris streams give art inspirations? Noted? Yes, they do, Galatio. They do. They did make Peachette. They did do that. Anyway, that's about as far as we're going to get into this bit right here. We've covered everything we need to. I've given the weird fan artists literally all of the information they could possibly want for whatever madness they want to breed. That's not the word I should have used. That's not the word I should have used at all. Anyway, thank you all for watching. Thank you all for being here, both on the stream and in the video when it goes out to YouTube. Thank you very much for the Partner Plus subscriptions, the Tier 1 and also Tier 3 and 2 subs that people have gone for the next 3 months. Thank you for all of that. We are trying to go to the Partner Plus program. With all that said, though, let's go ahead and close things out on this video. Not the stream, though, for people who are here from Poppy. Just the video itself, because this is a fully recorded segment. As always, everybody, insert end of video tagline here. And we have one more of these to go before we can start playing any type of video games of any variety. But you made it to the end of the video, and that means it's time to talk about fan art for everybody who's honestly really amazing and supports my show and everything I do. Y'all are just honestly the best. This first piece of fan art here comes from Matthias. Learning SVG, just a bit of fan art, and a coin to pay tribute. Why are there so many coins? Stop! The next one we have is from a very gay Allosaurus. Got bored at school and drew Jail-chan. Why Jail-chan? Why Jail-chan? Why is... When did Jail get waifuified? How? Also, that looks like the razor that I used to cut up gummy bears in jail, if I was in jail with gummy bears. The last one we have here is from Anubian. And it's a face swap, because Anubian is maximum cringe. It's just Vice Rhino's V-Roid model plastered on my character. And the next piece of fan art that comes after this is... It's a bit much. It's a bit much. I'm not even going to lie. I'm not going to show you guys, though. You have to wait till the next episode. Anyways, as always, everyone, thank you all for your fan art submissions. If you want your fan art to be shown in a future video, the best way to do so is to drop it into the fan art section of the Discord. With that said, I hope this video finds you well, and let's go to the credits. Hey, I just quickly want to give a thank you to all of my wonderful patrons who keep this show running. YouTube and Twitch are a pretty bumpy ride at the best of times, and the stability a Patreon provides me is worth more than I can say here. I'd also like to thank each and every one of my $20 and up patrons here, and they would be Britzkrieg, Cameron, Dren, Jemshin, Smiling DM, Poundini, Mabbity Babbity, Naomi, Isaac, Agamotto, Jordan, Ravi, Giuni, Kiratorian, Prisma, all of you, I'm not saying that part, and Starlight. And finally, thank you to everyone else that helps keep this channel alive. While you're here, why not check out another video? And thank you for watching.